got Shivangi Sarda as well with us now on the show. Shivangi, just getting a quick take from you then as to what the outlook is in terms of some of yesterday's movers in trade within the broader markets and within the frontliners as well. You did see the likes of a Sun Pharma, a Dr. Reddy's, Cipla. They were all abuzz within the pharma space. What are the charts indicating?
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me on the show. So we've seen that, of course, Sun Pharma, there was, short covering trigger that was seen yesterday, and the chart has been seen bottoming out. But my outlook over here would be that, once it takes support, at these levels and, stabilizes here, only then is it a stable, buy from here because pharma stocks are usually quite volatile. So, recommending to maintain a strict stop loss over here. Um, as levels concerned, 930 would be an important support to look out for 990 levels.
Pharma, and it is DVs which is making a real comeback. Basin Saab, has finally DVs managed to fix all the challenges what they've had? Because 2020 and 21, this was like the real darling stock. Nobody wanted to sell DVs, everybody wanted to buy. Post 2 quarters of bad performance, DVs is now on the receiving end. Do you think the stock has finally bottomed out post numbers?
Correct, Nikunj, and I think a lot of the pessimism and over-ownership was done with. I think numbers are very fine, and you don't have to keep weighing all these stocks just because of the COVID wave and so on. In contract farming, pharma, they are doing extremely well. And I would like to suggest one more name, with your permission. I think the DVs is well owned. Piramal Pharma. This is my dark horse play for 2023. Their CRAMS, their API, and their CGS businesses are starting to show a lot of expansion. Yes, there was this overhang of debt which has risen. Plus, they've had a higher taxation. But the Piramals have issued warrants at 126. So at 70, 72 rupees, Piramal Pharma is a steal. And I think this stock can double in the next 1 year, notwithstanding that the original business of the Piramals was pharma before they sold a blockbuster drug to Abbott, and then they diversified. So if you ask me, DVs is going to be an outperformer, but Piramal Pharma is my dark horse for doubling in the next 1 year.
But meantime, Shivangi, let's get an outlook from you as well. Within the broader markets, names that really stood out in yesterday's trading session then included a Schneider Electric. That stock scaled up something like 13%. You also had an NBCC, which was a buzz, and IBREL, which was gaining by about 8.6%. Do you believe that traction in these stocks is here to stay?
Absolutely. So, among all the names, I prefer NVCC because we've seen that the weekly structure is quite stable from the last 10 to 12 weeks. It's continuously forming a base which is shifting higher, and buying can be seen at any small declines. On daily frame, it is also taking support near its 50 exponential moving average. So definitely this stock is one which could be kept on radar for a target near 45 levels and a stop near 42 zones.
Okay, I'm just scanning through the list of stocks where you had a big technical breakout. Deepak Nitrite, Dixon, NBCC, Laurus. Then you got United Spirits and Sudarshan Chemicals. Kunal, Deepak Nitrite, Sudarshan Chemicals, are chemical stocks making a comeback?
Yeah, in fact, Tata Chemical was also on the verge of a breakout about 980 mark yesterday. SRF is the one which has also made a good comeback. So there are many chemical stocks which are actually looking attractive. Deepak Nitrite is something which we discussed, I think, 2 weeks back at 19, 20, 30 levels. And, the classic reason for that is that the stock is coming out of 2 important pattern breakouts. One is a bullish pennant formation on the daily charts, and if you try and extrapolate the time frame to maybe another 2-3 months down the line, then we are looking at a swing breakout and a major swing breakout for Deepak Nitrite at the 1950 levels. So the momentum, the chart patterns are very attractive for the stock, and that could probably emerge as the leaders. The other stocks would probably tend to follow on, but I think Deepak Nitrite has now established a major base, a strong breakout at the 1950 mark, and that should now act as a major support. So I think traders who would probably be looking out to buy the dips for Deepak Nitrite. I think closer it is towards the 1950 mark, the better would be the risk reward to initiate a buy.
Some more mid-cap ideas, although Innocent is not a mid-cap. But Shivangi, what's on your mid-cap radar this morning?
On the mid-cap front, I'm liking Poonawalla FinCorp. This stock has consistently been, making higher highs on the weekly frame as well, and remarkable, strength over here despite all the market volatility. And the upside over here would expect around 362 and a stop near 340 levels.
Right. Kunal, what about your mid-cap ideas?
Well, that will be a buy on REC Limited. That stock is making a comeback. At least over the last many days, we've seen 128, 129 as a major support being held on to the stock. So would suggest a buy on REC Limited, targets of 138, stop loss at 126.
EBITDA margins a year ago were at 32.2. Now they've come down to 26.4. When will you go back to 30% plus?
This quarter blipped down because, as you rightly pointed out, this is a slightly lower gross margin quarter due to end of season sales and clearing. But for the year, we feel very confident guiding that our EBITDA, as it has historically been, is going to guide over 30%.
The stock has just popped right back up. It was 3% down and it has popped right back up.
Okay, let's just revisit all the index calls as well coming in from our chartists and find out whether there is a consensus and consensus for what. So when it comes to Nifty, both Kush Bora as well as Kunal Bothra are recommending a hold on the Nifty. Rajesh Palvia is recommending buying the Nifty. So the Moodometer, pretty much a consensus there. It's a hold, at least from two of our chartists this morning on the Nifty. For the Bank Nifty, let's bring out their strategies here. Again, a similar one at that. Both Kunal as well as Kush are recommending a hold there. And it's a buy call from Rajesh. So consensus there as well, with the market Moodometer on the Nifty Bank indicating a hold once again.
Kunal, what if we see, let's say, a 100-point uptick in the Nifty after open? I mean, then we'll go almost to 18,400. And again, if you keep on going to in resistance, you'll break it. Again, you keep on going to support, you will break it. I think again and again, we are going to the resistance.
Yeah, I think we are meandering in the band, Nikunj. I think there is still not... So, what happens is when you go towards a resistance, there has to be a renewed vigor from the market internals. Now, for example, in the first attempt towards 18,400, 450 mark, there were so many large cap names which did exceptionally well. Just to give an example, the likes of HDFC Bank, I think hit an all-time high a couple of weeks back. L&T did well, but then in the successive attempts towards the 18,400 mark, the list of large cap names is actually falling down. ICICI Bank has receded from its highs. Axis Bank has also dropped, I think, a couple of percentage points from its previous swing highs. So that should not be the case, because when you're nearing a resistance or nearing a retest of a resistance, the market internals has to improve rather than deplete. So that's the only concern which I have from the overall market, and that's one of the major reasons why we've been indicating that the markets would consolidate, because the internals are not as strong when you head towards a resistance as we typically want it to be.
Minute 30 to go. Shivangi, let's get your thought. I mean, if there is a little bit of mild comeback in the first 1 hour of trade, would you go and buy the Nifty again?
So we've seen that Nifty has been consolidating within a very narrow range, and within that range we've seen quite a lot of swings. But then again, we've seen good amount of support-based buying, but upside again, there is call writing visible, which is making the upside limited and capped over here. So definitely, I would go for a buy on decline strategy, because the supports are quite well respected, with a support near 18,181 for an upside move towards 18,442 levels.